Howdy goons, goonettes, and minions. This is the GuliKit Elves 2 controller, and I wasn't originally going to make a video on it, but it's full of surprises for its very cheap $30 price. I got it because I was looking for a small controller to control my handhelds for videos so I could show the gameplay without getting my big nasty paws in the video, or without getting my human assistant's mug caught in the reflection of the handheld. I thought it was going to be just a small crappy little controller that I'd only use for video making. Turns out it's actually a really feature-rich controller that's worth talking about. I got my Elves 2 controller on Amazon during Prime Day just for $23.99. In the box it came with the controller in a hard plastic case, nice bonus, a pamphlet, and no charging cable. I guess someone at the factory had a hard choice to make. Give me a cord that I can use to power my controller, or give me a case for it. Thankfully we live in the year of your Overlord, 2026, and I have a billion USB-C cables, and you probably do too. Overall, the controller is what you'd expect from a Genesis-style controller, or I suppose Saturn, because the original version of this one is the Saturn color scheme. We have the floating disc D-pad, which I've become a recent fan of thanks to the RG Cube XX, large backseat buttons in the Nintendo layout, which is a little odd, large capture and home buttons, settings, minus, plus, sync, and 2 analog sticks on the front. The shoulders are 2 bumpers and 2 more bumpers that look like triggers. Considering it's a retro-style controller, this is fine, but if you're into shooters or racers, you'll want full triggers. On the back we have an on-off button, mode switch, and some branding. The controller itself is well-sized despite being smaller. It doesn't feel terribly undersized. This is still plenty usable for me, and the large backseat buttons definitely help with my big paws. The only thing that bugs me about the size is very shallow thumbsticks. Despite having very large stick heads, the overall length of the stick is too short, meaning playing on higher sensitivities will be harder. Basically, the longer the stick is, the more leverage you have and more range of movement, so you want a long stick to play shooters better. Again though, this isn't that kind of controller. Where it gets kind of interesting is the deets on the back of the box. GuliKit is one of those brands that's known for making a decent Hall effect controller, and it's more than decent. So in addition to being a good, cheap mini controller, it also has Switch 2 wake up, Hall effect sticks to prevent drift, dual vibration motors, a steel ring around the sticks to prevent damage to the sticks, 1000 Hz polling rate when wired, 730 Hz when wireless, 6-axis gyroscope, adjustable stick sensitivity, and dead zone control, and turbo. That's a ton of features for just $24. For frame of reference, there's controllers that are as much as $60 that don't feature gyroscope or Hall effect. GuliKit, 8BitDo, and GameSir have really been pumping out some banger budget controllers recently. Let's talk about the controller in some more detail though. For those on the fence about the disc D-pad, these are actually very good for modern games. They're very precise, but roll effectively, making them great for fighters that require directional input for moves like Street Fighter's Hadokens and Tatsumakis. This D-pad is good in much the same way, but the disc is raised higher than usual, giving more range of movement and control. It's probably the best style of D-pad there is when 8-way movement is concerned, and should you need more directions of movement than that, you have the Hall effect analog sticks. Since it's a floating disc D-pad with full 8-way movement, it's not clicky feeling like some of Xbox's D-pads. Just saying, if you're apprehensive about a floating disc, give it a try. I think you'll be surprised. My second favorite part of the controller is the big buttons. I absolutely love big buttons. I love big buttons and I cannot lie. It helps that these are also very comfortable. These big rubber membrane buttons are soft, quiet, and comfy, and most importantly, huge. Small ones kind of irk me. Some small plastic buttons can be really painful on the thumbs, especially in long play sessions as they leave indents on your thumbs. The sticks are just okay. They're Hall effect, which makes them better than first-party controllers. They'll last longer and have a better response time with more accuracy, but they're also very shallow and are clearly there just to check a box so that it's a fully functional controller, and that's totally fine. I would have appreciated them being about a centimeter taller though. Minus, plus, capture, and home do what you'd expect them to do. Settings is a macro key. When pressed in tandem with other buttons, they'll do a different function. These are kept pretty simple, like enabling or disabling dead zones, clear settings, turbo, and vibration intensity. There is unfortunately no macro button where it memorizes inputs, something that people have come to like for farming in some games, especially Pokemon Za. Personally, I've never used it. Either way, just know that it's not an option here. The bumpers are stacked in big, long, and thin, with inputs registering across the entire button surface. Like the rest of the controller, it's silent. The triggers, as mentioned before, are not full triggers, making this not the best option for driving games where you want to control your acceleration. It can be okay in shooters if you don't care about half presses. But retro games don't need full triggers, so if you play mostly retro games, this is going to be a better controller than one that has full triggers. I'd personally prefer full triggers with a hair trigger switch like some of 8BitDo's controllers, but for $30 I feel like I'm already getting a ton here. As for for bonuses, we have just the hard case. I like it quite a bit because even though it's Hall effect, it's possible to damage the sticks just by throwing it around, throwing it in a pocket, throwing it in a bag. You should still protect your sticks even if they're Hall effect. It also has a hole in the top for charging the cable. The battery lasts 20 hours and charges in about 2 hours. Overall, this is a well-priced controller that's packed full of surprises you'd expect from controllers triple its price. It's an 8 out of 10, but some minor nitpicks keep it from being perfect, like the triggers, analog sticks. Its ability to wake the Switch too is a little touchy. I have not gotten it to work, and its size is a little small for the main controller. I got it, but it's small. You might not like it for that reason. Factoring in the very low price that I got it for, $24, I'd give it a 9 out of 10, but you're not always going to get it for that price. As usual, who is this for? Anyone who goes out and about with their console and doesn't want to curse their buddy with the solo Joy-Con. For this price and size, you could pick up a few for less than the cost of a new Switch 2 game, and you can play pickup games of Smash wherever you want, no problem. It's also an excellent alternative to the very pricey Switch 2 Pro controller. It's good for people who play docked or on PC as well. It's genuinely an excellent controller aside from some minor nitpicks like the short sticks. It's good for both retro games and modern indies. It might not be great for shooters, but if your shooters are gyro compatible like Splatoon, Crysis, or Metro on the Switch, it's not too bad. It's pretty sensitive, which can allow for quick and reflexive flicks. And who should stay away? People who like to play competitive shooters or racers. Instead, check out my video on the GameSir Tegenaria Lite on the end card. It's cheaper, wired, has back paddle buttons, and has full triggers and sticks, but lacks gyro. Also, if you want to play on something that isn't Switch, PC, iOS, or Android, you should stay away as it doesn't work on PlayStation or Xbox. Thanks for watching. Do you have the Elves too? What do you think about it? Don't forget to tip your Overlord with a like, sub, and hype. And thanks to all the super goons who are members on YouTube like Dragon Fanatic, Willie Pete, Linky, and AstroPixie YT. An Overlord can't rule the world without good goons, and these 4 are some of the best there are. See you later.